We all know Mississippians love beer. But have you ever wondered how your favorite beverages get to your local bars, restaurants, and stores? It's all thanks to the 3-tier system. So what exactly is that? It's a way to ensure that a wide variety of fresh alcoholic beverages make their way to the American people safely, and is made up of 3 distinct parts. To understand how it all comes together, let's break down the roles of each. First in line, we have Tier 1, the suppliers. These are the individuals who craft the beverages. They're the artists in this whole process, producing their beverages at breweries, distilleries, and wineries across the nation. Next up is Tier 2, the distributors, also known as wholesalers. These dedicated businesses are responsible for transporting suppliers' products and ensuring their safety and freshness. They also handle inventory management, collect taxes for state and local governments, and play a crucial role in marketing to consumers. To ensure they adhere to regulations and guidelines, they must hold both state and federal licenses. Finally, Tier 3, the retailers. These are the businesses consumers interact with directly: the bars, restaurants, supermarkets, and convenience stores. They offer a variety of products from suppliers of all sizes, and distributors help market these brands effectively and responsibly. Now, why do we need all 3 tiers? What makes this system work is the clear separation of responsibilities and ownership amongst each tier. Suppliers focus on creating exceptional products, distributors ensure freshness, quality, efficient delivery, and brand-building expertise, while the retailers directly serve consumers. This independence between the participants is what keeps the system equitable, safe, and ensures thriving competition, as no single entity holds control over the others. This isn't the case in other parts of the world, and no other country has the choice and variety we present in the U.S. because of our unique system. The list of benefits is extensive. Consumers can depend on receiving a safe, fresh product from a multitude of manufacturers, regardless of their size, thanks to the checks and balances within our 3-tier regulatory structure. Since distributors are independent from suppliers, they provide equal access to craft brewer or a global beverage company. Communities benefit from the commitment of local licensed businesses who ensure community safety through age verifications and adherence to local rules and regulations. And state governments benefit from the efficient tax collection facilitated by distributors. And there you have it. That's a brief overview of the 3-tier system. Please come take a tour at a local distributor's warehouse and get more details about why our system is so important for the state and our people. Cheers.
I give because I believe I can make a difference.
If he didn't give, I wouldn't be alive today.
Mississippi Blood Services allowed me to save a life.
Through Mississippi Blood Services, he saved my life.
Since 1979, Mississippi Blood Services has been Mississippi's primary blood supplier and is the only FDA-licensed blood center headquartered here. Give blood local and save lives.
Another life could depend on you.
Sally Kate Winters Family Services was named in memory of Sally Kate Winters as recognition of the tireless work contributed to the organization's startup by her mother, Martha Winters. Sally Kate, an Ole Miss senior education major in 1965, was killed in a tragic car crash. Her love for children was evident in her personality and career goals. Her compassionate spirit continues to impact families and children's lives throughout Mississippi. Sally Kate Winters Family Services is evidence that one person can make a positive difference in the lives of many. In 1988, Deputy Cassandra Smith with the Clay County Sheriff's Department voiced concern for children being placed at the Sheriff's Department for emergency shelter because there was no other resource for them. She made a call to Martha Winters for support, and together they established the first board of directors for what was initially named Sally Kate Winters Memorial Children's Home, later renamed Sally Kate Winters Family Services to define a broader range of services.
The emergency shelter was brought to life when children that were being abused and neglected were housed in the local jail, and there was some concerned citizen that wanted to make them feel like they were not the perpetrator, but they was being victimized, so they're trying to find housing for them.
Monetarily it helped, but it also spread the word that what was happening in our small community was such a need. I mean, we ended up having children from all over the state here because there was no other place like it.
To have a day set apart in Sally Kate Winters Memorial Children's Home honor helps people know that there are needs and that there are opportunities to give and support this wonderful program.
The community was very supportive of the parade. They were excited about the idea. I started by taking letters to the local schools as well as daycares asking for participation with their students, and it grew from there.
The main marketing strategy was moving from Sally Kate Winters Memorial Children's Home to Sally Kate Winters Family Services, and what did that encompass? We did a new logo, we did a lot of adding those services, so we've used billboard, television, radio, social media outlets, website. All of those things kind of were part of the early 2000s that really kind of helped us to bring awareness to our organization and the changes. The butterfly is a perfect example of really what kids go through. We usually get them in a really dark stage of their experience, and they come in with a lot of trauma. They're scared. A lot of them are angry, and when I think about myself at that age, I can relate to that.
So we're getting a lot of calls from community members, school counselors, other people who work with kids in crisis that were needing a temporary place to stay. We couldn't offer those services at the time because the shelter only deals with kids in custody. The implementation of the Runaway Homeless Youth Program in 2007 allowed us to be able to have beds that were available to those kids in crisis, and then offer services to people who were dealing with those kids at that time.
Young adults benefited from the Transitional Living Home, or TLP as we call it, by being a part of a community of people that offered support, being able to be around other youth that also had faced similar challenges, and understanding that they weren't alone. Also within the program, I can't talk about it enough because I feel like it's one of the best programs out there for young adults.
The idea of providing services from a forensic standpoint, from an investigative standpoint, which is a little different than how we had ever been involved with kids in crisis before. Simply they were coming to us after the fact when they needed shelter placement. So we came to look at where can we fill that gap, how can we get involved and be beneficial to CPS workers from the investigative standpoint.
How can we make sure that Sally Kate is here for a long time to provide these services? And that's where the idea of the endowment fund came through. A great way for people to leave a legacy. You know, so many people are looking for ways for their families to impact generations and generations and generations, and we felt like the endowment fund was a great way to do that.
National accreditation is 10 standards, and so naturally that's forensic interviewing and victim advocacy, the mental health services and medical referrals that are provided through that. But then it's also making sure that as an organization you have organizational capacity, you have a sustainability plan, you're culturally competent, and diversity and inclusion is all part of that. And so it really encompasses not only the services but the organization as a whole, that you're doing consistent case review and all of the parties and professionals are routinely at the table, not just one time a year. We've served over 4,000 kids in 32 years. So there's been a lot of children through the years that have kind of come and gone that have really impacted us as an organization. Personally, I would say the a group of siblings that came in because they lived a few blocks from our organization and were living in an environment without running water or electricity for 2 weeks before a report was made to Child Protection Services. It was 3 brothers. They were all teenagers. When they came in, we definitely got very close to the oldest celebrated his 16th birthday with us. And like all kids, when they celebrate a birthday, we make that a pretty big deal. So we did a birthday cake and a little gift for him. The next morning when I came in to see how he enjoyed his birthday cake, the cake was still sitting on the counter. He had never had one before, and so it sat on our counter for 3 days before he would allow anybody to cut it. And so as a 30-year-old at the time, that was very humbling to me. I had had a birthday cake for every year that I could remember. And what a small gesture and the impact that made to him, but also to all of us who worked here, like how important those small things are. Those childhood memories that are really irreplaceable, that we need to make sure all children have an opportunity to experience.
"90% of child victims of sexual abuse are abused by someone they know, trust, and love. They look and act like everyone else, sometimes appearing to be trustworthy. If you suspect abuse, report it. Mississippi, will you speak up for children when they can't? Speak out for them. Speak about hope for them. Speak for them when they can't. You can create hope, healing, and justice for abused children in Mississippi. Donate now."
Good morning. My name is Sean Tindell, and I'm your Commissioner at the Mississippi Department of Public Safety. I'm very sorry that I couldn't attend the I Protect Children luncheon today, but I had a conflict that came up that required me to be in another area of our state. It is so important to me to recognize each of you for the work that you do in our child advocacy centers. It was Martin Luther King that said, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." And really, what greater injustice is there than crimes that are perpetrated upon our most vulnerable, which are our children? Throughout my career, I've worked closely with child advocacy centers, trying to make sure that our most vulnerable, our children, have access to justice, that are treated fairly, and given an opportunity for a better life. As a prosecutor on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, working with our youth court, I was an advocate for the rights of children, trying to ensure that they found justice for the abuse that was perpetrated against them. As a state senator, I worked closely with child advocacy centers to help pass landmark legislation, improving our youth courts, and providing greater access to the justice system for families and abused children. On the Mississippi Court of Appeals, we routinely heard cases, and we tried to be an advocate of justice for those children. It would often frustrate me to hear parents talk about how much they love their children, but those same parents didn't value their children enough to provide for them, enough to protect them, and enough to give them a better life. And now, at the Mississippi Department of Public Safety, I've tried to be an advocate for law enforcement and others in the justice system to make sure that they have the tools and the resources that you all need to make sure that these children find the justice that they so deserve. If you look up the definition of justice, it is said that it is the fairness in the way people are dealt with. It is your kind heart and your kind hand and your willingness to help those children that provides them the justice that they need. When we think about heroes in our state, we often think about those that wear the badge. We think about soldiers. When we read comic books and we watch movies, we think about heroes that have capes or they wear their shields. But the reality is, we have a lot of heroes that don't wear badges, that aren't in comic books, and you are one of those heroes. The work you do at child advocacy centers makes you a hero. It makes you a shining light in the life of a child that is desperate for a better life. And if not for the work that you do and the sacrifice that you make, both emotionally and personally, to be that advocate for an abused child, we would be in a much darker place. I'm thankful and I'm grateful for what you do, because I know firsthand, as a former prosecutor, that if not for the work at our child advocacy centers, trying to hold those that abuse children accountable would be much, much, much more difficult. You shine a light on that abuse, and you work with the children to reveal exactly what those abuses are. And they can range from so many things, from emotional to neglect to physical child abuse. And as I mentioned earlier, it's not just an impact on that child, but often an impact for generations. So many times we see children that are abused and it goes unnoticed or unaccounted for. Those individuals grow up to abuse their children. And that's what makes it a multi-generational crime. And really, by doing the work that you do, it helps break those cycles and protects future generations. The work that you do as a multidisciplinary team at our child advocacy centers is so, so important. Bringing different backgrounds and different expertise to help protect children also helps to secure full prosecution of those that perpetrate those crimes. The reality is we all bring different experiences and expertise to the situation. Sometimes we need information from a child that we get during the course of those interviews, but often those children also need a loving hand, a caring hug, a sincere show of love and appreciation, and a safe place to be in these dark hours. The multidisciplinary teams at our child advocacy centers bring all those things together. And it's not just about finding justice and ensuring that those that perpetrate the crime against the child are held accountable, but also making sure that those children receive love and tenderness and a pathway to a brighter future. Our child advocacy centers do that, and they're so, so vitally important to our state. You can rest assured that as Commissioner of the Mississippi Department of Public Safety, I'm going to work hand in hand with your leadership, our state legislators, to make sure that you continue to get the resources you need to make our community safer and protect our children. The multidisciplinary work and teams that you put together make our state safer, and is a core mission of this agency to ensure that we're working with you to further the needs and fill the needs of those children. We all have an opportunity to be a point of light in the life of others. How bright that light shines is up to each of us. For those of you who work in our child advocacy centers, work as prosecutors, and do your part to protect abused children, you are a light that shines bright in the light of a child in their darkest hours. Shining your light on those children makes you a hero. And it ensures that as a state, that light will shine brighter for generations. As I go around the state and I meet with many public officials and we talk about child abuse and we talk about our justice system and the needs that we have, one of the greatest advocates in our state is Carla. She does such a great job and everybody knows her. And she's been a great role model and leader for child advocacy centers for the last decade. And I personally want to thank her, not only for this opportunity to address you, but also for the work that she does. She's one of our biggest heroes in this state for children. And if not for her, the light would be much darker in our state. Again, it's been an honor to speak to you today. I really, really wish I could be there in person so that we could have one-on-one conversations about the things that we can all do to help protect children. I do want to give you my cell phone number. If you can reach out to me if you have any needs, I'll always be responsive because it's one of our #1 priorities at the Mississippi Department of Public Safety. So if you need to reach me, my cell phone number is 228-342-5963. I look forward to working with you, and I look forward to being a part of the light that'll shine bright for our children. My name is Sean Tindell. I'm your commissioner at the Mississippi Department of Public Safety, and I protect children.